Have you ever felt like someone was inside your head, twisting your thoughts? That was the first thing Dr. Lancaster ever asked me. Not what brings you in today. Not how are you feeling. Just that one chilling question. I remember the way he looked at me, head slightly tilted, pen tapping gently against his notepad. His voice was warm, reassuring, but there was something about his eyes. They studied me too closely, like he already knew the answer. I hesitated before nodding. Sometimes, I admitted, sometimes I feel like I'm not in control of my own life. He smiled at that. That's a good place to start. In the beginning, therapy seemed to help. I talked, he listened. I told him things I had never said out loud about my anxiety, my self-doubt, the nights I lay awake, overanalyzing every conversation, every mistake. He helped me make sense of it. At least, that's what I thought. But then things started happening. Little things. Things that made me question whether I was losing my mind. My car keys disappeared from my counter and turned up in the freezer. My emails contained messages I didn't remember writing. My best friend, Lisa, suddenly stopped replying to my texts, and when I finally confronted her, she looked at me like I was a stranger. "You know why, Emily," she had said coldly. "After what you did." I had no idea what she was talking about. And then I got the email. It was from an anonymous sender. No subject, no greeting, just a single audio attachment. When I pressed play, my stomach turned to ice. It was my voice. I was in Lancaster's office, my words shaking. Sometimes I feel like I'm losing my grip on reality. I remembered saying that. I had said it in confidence, in the safety of his office. But I had never recorded it. My hands trembled as I replayed the audio. How did someone get this? Was it a mistake? A cruel prank? I needed answers. I needed to know if Dr. Lancaster had recorded me without my consent. The next session, I tried to act normal, but my heart pounded in my chest as I spoke. I needed to test him. "I've been thinking about leaving town," I said casually, "starting fresh somewhere new." It was a lie. I wasn't planning to go anywhere. He just nodded, jotting something down. That could be a healthy change. I left his office feeling sick. 2 days later, I came home to find a for sale sign planted in front of my apartment complex. On my doorstep was a thick envelope. When I opened it, my heart nearly stopped. Inside was a formal eviction notice, a signed agreement, apparently from me, confirming my departure. But I had never signed it. Panic surged through me. I called my landlord, desperate to explain. "Emily, you requested this 2 weeks ago," he said, confused. "You signed the papers. We have it all in writing." "No, I didn't," I insisted. "You even sent a follow-up email confirming the move," he said. "I can forward it to you." Seconds later, the email appeared in my inbox. But I had never written it. Someone had forged my name. Someone had sent that email from my account. Someone was making me disappear. And there was only one person who knew exactly how to do it. Dr. Lancaster. The email sat open on my screen, my own words staring back at me, except I had never written them. "I confirm my move-out date as requested. Please proceed with the necessary arrangements. Thank you." The tone, the phrasing, it sounded like me, but it wasn't. Someone had imitated my writing style perfectly. My hands shook as I scrolled down. At the bottom of the email was my signature. Flawless. Identical to how I signed my name on paperwork. But it wasn't mine. I checked the sent folder in my email. The message was there, time-stamped and marked as sent from my own account. I felt dizzy. This wasn't just a mistake. This was calculated, planned. I grabbed my phone and called the only person who might understand, Lisa. She had stopped talking to me, avoided my messages, but I needed to hear her voice. It rang once, twice. Then she picked up. "Emily." She sounded hesitant, like she had been expecting me. "Lisa, please, you have to tell me. Why are you mad at me? What did I do?" Silence. Then a sharp intake of breath. "You don't remember, do you?" she whispered. A cold knot formed in my stomach. "Remember what? You told me you never wanted to see me again, that I was toxic. You said you were cutting me out of your life." "What?" My voice cracked. "I never said that." "You texted me, Emily. You sent me a long message, said you finally saw me for who I really was, that we were done." My skin prickled. Lisa, I never sent you anything. She hesitated, then sighed. I don't know what to believe anymore. The line went dead. I sat there, frozen, staring at the screen. First my eviction, now my best friend. Someone wasn't just manipulating my life. They were erasing me from it. I had to know if it was him. When my next therapy session came, I walked into Dr. Lancaster's office with my heart pounding. I forced myself to stay calm, to act normal. How have you been feeling? He asked, his voice smooth, familiar. A little overwhelmed, I admitted. He nodded, his eyes scanning me carefully. Change can be difficult, but you've made progress, Emily. I'm proud of you. Have I asked carefully. His smile didn't falter. Of course, you're taking control of your life, making important decisions. His words were almost too perfect, too well placed. I needed to test him. I've been thinking about deleting all my social media, I lied, just starting over completely fresh. I watched his reaction, no surprise, just another nod, as if he had been expecting me to say that. That could be a good step, he said. Detaching from distractions, finding clarity. I left his office feeling sick. And 2 days later, my social media accounts were gone. Not deactivated, deleted, permanently erased, as if I had never existed. My hands trembled as I tried to log in, only to be met with error messages. My Facebook, my Instagram, even my email gone. I dialed customer support, desperate for an explanation. Your deletion request was processed successfully, the representative told me. What request? My voice rose. I never made a request. It was submitted from your verified email account, they explained. Security protocols were followed. Click. The line disconnected. I stared at my screen, my reflection staring back at me in the black void of my locked-out accounts. This wasn't a coincidence. This was him. Dr. Lancaster wasn't just listening. He was controlling. And if I didn't stop him, I knew exactly what would happen next. He would erase me completely. I sat in the dim light of my apartment, staring at my reflection in the black screen of my laptop. My social media accounts were gone. My emails were compromised. My best friend thought I had betrayed her. My landlord believed I was leaving. Someone was pulling the strings of my life, rearranging everything, making decisions in my name. And I knew exactly who it was. Dr. Lancaster. I had to be sure. I had to catch him in the act. I pulled out an old notebook and started writing. This time, nothing digital. Nothing he could manipulate. I made a list of everything that had happened, every strange coincidence, every missing piece. My handwriting wavered as I reached the last line. What happens when I stop playing along? I needed proof. Real proof. Something I could take to the police. But how do you prove someone is inside your life, making you disappear from the inside out? I decided to test him again. I grabbed my phone, and with my hands still shaking, I typed out a message. I think someone is following me. Then I deleted it before sending. If he had access to my accounts, he'd see it. He'd react. And I didn't have to wait long. The next morning, there was a note slipped under my door. No envelope, no name, just a single, typed sentence. You should be careful who you trust. My stomach twisted. Someone had been here. Someone had been close enough to touch my door, to slide that paper beneath it while I slept. I tore out of my apartment, scanning the hallway, but it was empty. I felt like a trapped animal, pacing back and forth. My phone vibrated in my hand. A new email. No subject. No sender. Just an attachment. I hesitated before tapping it. And then I heard my own voice. I think someone is following me. My breath caught in my throat. It was exactly what I had typed and erased. He had seen it. He had recorded it. This wasn't just about control anymore. This was a game. I needed help. Someone who could see this for what it was. Someone who could fight back. Kyle, my ex-boyfriend, a tech expert. We hadn't spoken in a year, not since the messy end of our relationship. But right now, he was my only chance. I called him, hoping he would pick up. 3 rings, 4, then his voice, cautious. Emily? Kyle, I need your help. A pause. Then, where are you? I met him at a small diner across town, my hood pulled up, my hands wrapped around a cup of untouched coffee. He listened as I told him everything. The emails, the forged messages, the missing accounts. Someone is in my life, Kyle. Someone is making decisions for me. He didn't laugh, didn't call me crazy. Instead, he leaned in, show me. I handed him my phone, my laptop. He worked in silence, fingers flying over the keyboard, his brow furrowing deeper by the second. Then he exhaled sharply. This isn't just hacking, Emily. This is something else. What do you mean? I whispered. He turned the screen toward me. Lines of code, logs of activity, timestamps. Someone isn't just accessing your accounts. They're mirroring them. They created a version of you online that isn't really you. I stared at the screen, my pulse roaring in my ears. What did they want? I asked. Kyle hesitated. I don't know. But the question that truly haunted me was one I was too afraid to ask. What happens when the fake version of me replaces the real one? Kyle stared at the screen, his face tense, his fingers still hovering over the keyboard. The diner buzzed with quiet conversation around us, but in that moment it felt like we were completely alone, trapped in some invisible web. Mirroring me, I repeated, my voice barely above a whisper. He nodded. Whoever is doing this isn't just hacking you. They're creating a version of you online, responding to messages, making decisions, deleting accounts, signing documents. To anyone else, it looks like you're the one doing all of it. A sick feeling twisted in my gut. So, if this keeps going, what happens to me? I asked. His jaw tightened. Eventually, the real you won't matter. Legally, digitally, you won't exist. I swallowed hard. I had been so focused on proving Dr. Lancaster was behind this that I hadn't let myself consider the endgame. Who was I without my name, my identity, my connections? If every record of me vanished, would I even be able to prove I was me? Can you stop it? I asked. He ran a hand through his hair. Whoever this is, they're good, really good. They've buried their tracks deep. I need more time. We don't have time. I gripped the edge of the table. He's escalating. It started with small things, but now it's my home, my friends. I hesitated. Kyle, he's making me disappear. Kyle exhaled sharply. Okay, then we fight back. Back at his apartment, Kyle worked in silence, screens casting a dim glow across the darkened room. I sat behind him, heart pounding, watching as lines of code flashed and disappeared. I'm setting up a trap, he murmured. If they access your accounts again, I can trace their location. But we need bait, something that forces them to act. I hesitated before answering. What if I say I'm going to the police? His hand stilled over the keyboard. If they think you're exposing them, they'll have to respond fast. But that could be dangerous, Emily. So is doing nothing. He nodded reluctantly. Okay, but we do it my way. He pulled up a blank email and typed, "To whom it may concern, I believe my identity has been stolen. I have reason to suspect an individual is using my personal information to commit fraud and manipulate my online presence. I will be meeting with law enforcement tomorrow to provide evidence. No names, no direct accusations, just enough to trigger a reaction. I'll send it from a secure account, one they don't control," Kyle said. I exhaled. Do it. He hit send. Then we waited. It didn't take long. Less than an hour later, Kyle's screen flashed. A breach attempt. Someone was trying to access my email again. Got you, Kyle muttered, typing furiously. The screen shifted, revealing a trace route. Numbers, locations, bouncing signals. Then finally, a fixed point. Kyle's face went pale. No, that's not possible. A chill ran through me. What? Where is it coming from? His eyes met mine, wide with something between fear and disbelief. Emily, it's coming from your apartment. For a second, I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. Then my phone buzzed. A text message. No name, no number. Just 3 words. You shouldn't have. Someone was in my apartment. Someone was watching me. I wasn't just being erased. I was being replaced. I stared at my phone, my pulse thudding so loudly I could barely hear Kyle's voice. You shouldn't have. The words burned into my mind, simple but laced with quiet menace. Whoever had sent it wasn't panicked. They weren't rushing to cover their tracks. They wanted me to know. Emily, Kyle's voice was sharp. We need to call the police. I shook my head, gripping the phone tighter. And tell them what? That someone's pretending to be me online. That I think my therapist is behind it. That someone. My voice wavered. It's inside my apartment. Kyle clenched his jaw, but he knew I was right. No one would believe me. Then we go there, he said. We catch them ourselves. I hesitated. Every instinct in me screamed against it. But what choice did I have? If someone was in my home, sitting in my space, using my identity, I needed to know. Let's go. We took Kyle's car. The city streets blurred past as my mind raced ahead. I tried to picture what we find. Would my apartment be ransacked, empty, or worse, would someone be there, waiting for me? The thought made my breath hitch. If something feels off, we don't go inside, Kyle said, gripping the wheel. We leave and figure something else out. I nodded, but deep down, I knew I wouldn't turn back. The moment we pulled up, my stomach twisted. My apartment window, the one facing the street, was dark. No movement, no light. But my front door? It was slightly open. Stay here, Kyle whispered, but I was already moving. I pushed the door open, heart hammering. The air inside was still, too still, like the apartment itself was holding its breath. Everything looked the same. The couch, the bookshelf, the coat draped over the chair. But something was wrong. A feeling, an absence I couldn't name. Kyle followed, his phone flashlight sweeping the room. Check the bedroom, I whispered. He nodded and moved ahead while I lingered in the living room. I scanned the space, looking for something, anything, out of place. Then I saw it, my laptop, open on the coffee table. The screen was glowing softly, the cursor blinking inside an email draft. I moved closer, every nerve in my body on edge. The email was addressed to my boss. I regret to inform you that I will not be returning to work. Due to personal reasons, I am leaving the city indefinitely. Please consider this my formal resignation. No signature, no hesitation. Just another piece of my life being stripped away. My blood ran cold. Kyle, I called, but before he could answer, something clicked behind me. The door, it was closing. On its own. No, not on its own. Someone was behind it. I spun just as a shadow moved. A figure stepped out from behind the doorframe. My breath locked in my throat. It was me. No, not me. She stood there, dressed in my clothes, her face an exact reflection of mine. The same eyes, the same mouth, the same way my hair curled slightly at the ends. But her expression was wrong. Too calm, too knowing. She smiled. You shouldn't be here, Emily, she said. And then the lights went out. Darkness swallowed the room. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Somewhere to my left, Kyle cursed under his breath. The beam of this phone flashlight flickered wildly before steadying, cutting through the shadows. But she was gone. Where is she? Kyle hissed, stepping closer to me. I swallowed hard. My hands were trembling, my pulse roaring in my ears. She was just there. We turned in unison, scanning the apartment. The air felt different now, thicker, heavier, charged with something I didn't understand. My own reflection had just spoken to me. Emily, we need to go. Kyle's voice was low, urgent. Whatever is happening here, it's not normal. But my body refused to move. My mind kept replaying it. The way she had looked at me, not with fear, not with confusion, but with certainty. Like she belonged here. And I didn't. Then from the hallway, a whisper. Why are you still here? I spun toward the sound. Nothing. Then Kyle gasped, pointing. The laptop. I turned back. The email was gone, erased. In its place, a new message had appeared on the screen. You need to let go. My breath caught. She's talking to me, I whispered. She's messing with you, Kyle snapped, grabbing my arm. We're leaving. Now. But before we could take a step, the bedroom door creaked open. slowly, deliberately. I could barely see inside, but I knew. She was in there, waiting. Emily. I stepped forward before Kyle could stop me. I had to see. I had to know. The bedroom was dim, the only light coming from the street lamp outside. My bed was perfectly made. The closet doors were closed. Everything was too neat, too undisturbed. But then I noticed the dresser. One of my notebooks was sitting there, open. My handwriting filled the page, but I didn't remember writing any of it. Accept it. Stop fighting. A chill crawled up my spine. Emily, we have to go. Kyle's voice was tight, edged with panic. I turned toward him, and she was there, standing behind him. He doesn't belong here, she said softly. Kyle spun around, nearly stumbling back. Her expression was calm, almost sympathetic. You're making this harder than it needs to be, she told me. I stared at her, my own face staring back. Who are you? My voice came out hoarse. She tilted her head. You already know. My hands clenched into fists. You're not me, she smiled. Aren't I? Then, without warning, the bedroom door slammed shut between us, trapping Kyle outside, locking me in. I threw myself at the door, pounding against it. Kyle. His voice was muffled on the other side, shouting my name. I spun back around. She hadn't moved. What do you want? I demanded. Her eyes softened, almost pitying. It's not about what I want. She took a step forward. It's about what you want. The walls of the room felt like they were closing in. This isn't real, I whispered. Isn't it? She countered. I squeezed my eyes shut, trying to make sense of it, trying to push her out of my mind. But her voice was still there, quiet, unwavering. You came to Dr. Lancaster because you wanted to let go. You wanted to be free. My breath hitched. This is your chance, Emily. I forced my eyes open. I don't want this, I spat. She smiled again. Then why are you still here? The room seemed to breathe around me, and deep inside, I felt something shift. The air in the bedroom felt thick, suffocating. She stood there, watching me with my own eyes, wearing my own face. Everything about her was exactly me, except for the way she held herself, calm, assured, like she belonged here more than I did. Outside the door, Kyle was pounding, shouting my name, but his voice felt distant, like it was slipping away. What are you? My voice was barely above a whisper. She took a slow step forward. I'm the part of you that knows the truth. What truth? She tilted her head. That you don't exist anymore. A cold wave crashed through me. You're lying. Am I? She asked, her expression unreadable. Tell me, Emily, when was the last time you felt real? My breathing faltered. You keep trying to fight it, she continued. But deep down, you know, the emails, the missing accounts, your life slipping away piece by piece. You thought someone was doing this to you. She took another step closer. But you did this to yourself. No, I whispered, shaking my head. Someone is trying to replace me. Why? She interrupted. Why would anyone go to such lengths? Why would anyone erase you, destroy you, piece by piece? I clenched my fists. Dr. Lancaster. Dr. Lancaster only helped you see what was already happening, she cut in. You came to him because you felt like you were disappearing. You told him you couldn't hold on to yourself anymore, that everything felt like it was slipping away, that you were losing control. The words hit me like a fist to the chest. And now, she whispered, you finally understand. The air in the room seemed to pulse, a deep, humming silence pressing against my ears. You were never being replaced. She stepped so close I could feel the warmth of her breath. You were fading. My knees buckled, and I stumbled back against the dresser, my pulse hammering against my ribs. No. But the memories started flooding back, unbidden, unstoppable. The therapy sessions, the long, sleepless nights staring at the ceiling, feeling like I was slipping out of my own skin. The desperate fear that maybe, just maybe, I wasn't all there anymore. This isn't happening, I gasped. She sighed. You don't have to fight it, Emily. It's over. I don't believe you, I spat. Her lips curled into something sad, something almost gentle. Then why can't he hear you? The pounding on the door, Kyle's voice. But it wasn't my name anymore. He was shouting something else. Open the door. She's in there. She needs help. The world tilted. He's talking about me, I whispered. The other me shook her head. No, Emily. Her voice was soft now. Final. He's talking about me. The floor beneath me felt unsteady. My hands tingled. My body felt weightless, like I was drifting. The other me stepped back, just enough for me to see the full-length mirror behind her. My reflection wasn't there. The door burst open. Light flooded the room. Kyle's eyes locked onto the other me, his face twisted with panic. Emily, he rushed forward, grabbing her shoulders. Emily, talk to me. But he wasn't looking at me. He wasn't touching me. He couldn't see me. My breath left my lungs in a silent scream. I was already gone. I was still in the room. I could feel the floor beneath me, hear the hum of the street lamp outside, smell the faint scent of my lavender candle. But Kyle couldn't see me. His hands gripped her shoulders. He was shaking her, searching her face for answers, panic twisting his features. Emily, what's happening? His voice was raw, desperate. I'm right here, I shouted, reaching for him. My fingers passed through his arm like air. I stumbled back, gasping, my breath hitching in my throat. No. My hands were shaking, but they weren't solid. I could see through them, the edges flickering, unstable. The other me looked at me with quiet understanding. Do you get it now? She asked softly. I shook my head violently. This isn't real. I'm still here. You were, she corrected, but you've been fading for a long time. I turned back to Kyle, my heart slamming against my ribs. Kyle, it's me. I tried again, stepping in front of him, waving my arms. Nothing. He didn't even flinch. He was still locked onto her. The other Emily. Please, I whispered. My knees nearly buckled as reality crashed into me. This wasn't just someone pretending to be me. This wasn't identity theft. I was the copy. Or maybe I had been all along. How? How did this happen? I croaked, turning back to her. She studied me, her expression unreadable. Because you let it. I would never. You did, she said gently. Little by little, piece by piece. You stopped showing up for your life. You stopped believing you were real. You told Dr. Lancaster that nothing felt solid anymore. That you felt like you were watching yourself instead of being yourself. Her eyes softened. So, one day, you weren't. A sob clawed up my throat, but I swallowed it down. Then what am I? I asked. A shadow, she said. A memory holding on by sheer will. But even that is slipping. I didn't want to believe her. I wanted to fight, to scream, to exist. But deep down I knew. I thought back to the signs. My messages deleting themselves. My reflection looking wrong. My life crumbling, disappearing. I had been watching someone erase me, but I hadn't realized I was the one disappearing. No, I whispered, shaking my head. It's time to let go, Emily, she said. This is how it has to be. I don't want to. She stepped closer, reaching for me. But you already are. Her fingers brushed my arm, and suddenly the room tilted, a rush of air, a sickening weightlessness. The walls stretched, warped, blurred into nothingness. The last thing I saw was Kyle's face, his real, solid, living face, staring past me, desperate, searching. But he wasn't searching for me. He had already found who he was looking for. And then, just like that, I was gone. Silence. No walls, no floor, no air. Just nothing. I wasn't falling. I wasn't floating. I just was. Or maybe I wasn't anything at all. Then voices, distant, muffled, like sound traveling through thick glass. She's in shock. Emily, look at me. I was Emily, wasn't I? But the voice wasn't talking to me. It was talking to her. A sharp pressure pushed against the edges of my mind, something pulling, stretching, unraveling. I tried to hold on to something, anything. But what was left? My name, my face, my memories? It was all hers now. I was slipping further into the void when, no, a whisper, but not mine. She's still here. The blackness around me shuddered. I felt weight again, felt the pull of gravity, the hum of the world returning, distant but there. I wasn't gone, not yet. I focused, grasping at the frayed edges of myself, dragging my awareness back. The voices sharpened. Emily? You okay? Kyle. My vision flickered like a dying screen. The apartment swam into focus in fractured pieces. The bookshelf, the flickering lamp, Kyle's worried face. And her, sitting on the couch, hands shaking, eyes wide. She looked afraid. She's still here. It was her whispering. Kyle didn't hear it, but I did. Our eyes locked. You feel it, don't you? I whispered. Her breath hitched. No, she shook her head, gripping her arms like she could hold herself together. This isn't supposed to happen. Kyle placed a hand on her shoulder, grounding her. You need to rest. Kyle, I said, stepping forward, but my voice didn't reach him. His expression never changed. He still couldn't hear me. But she could. Her fingers twitched. She squeezed her eyes shut, shaking her head harder. You have to go, she whispered. You're not supposed to be here. I took another step, and she flinched, pressing back against the couch. You took my life, I said, my voice cold. Her breathing turned ragged. It wasn't supposed to be like this, she murmured. But it is. She clutched her head, like something was splitting inside her. Kyle frowned. Emily, what's wrong? Tell them the truth, I urged. She squeezed her eyes shut. Stop, she whispered. Tell him who you really are. Her hands curled into fists. Stop. You know I'm still here. She let out a strangled gasp. Then, the lamp shattered. The room plunged into darkness. A rush of cold air slammed through the apartment, like something had been ripped open. And for the first time, Kyle's head snapped toward me. His eyes widened. Whole. Then everything collapsed. The room imploded. Not with noise, not with force, but with silence. Thick. Suffocating. Absolute. The walls stretched, rippled like fabric in the wind. Kyle's face twisted in shock, frozen mid-motion. The shattered lamp hovered in midair, each fragment caught in an invisible web. Time itself had stopped, except for me. And her. She was trembling, hands clenched into fists, eyes squeezed shut. This isn't happening, she whispered. This isn't real. But it was. She could feel it. I could feel it. The weight of me, pressing in, refusing to disappear. I took a step toward her. The floor rippled beneath my feet. You can't ignore me anymore, I said. Her breath came in sharp gasps. You're not real, she spat. You're just a piece of me I haven't let go of yet. I tilted my head. Is that what Dr. Lancaster told you? Her eyes snapped open. Don't say his name. The room shuddered. I smiled, a slow, knowing smile. He lied to you. Shut up. He made you believe this was what you wanted. She shook her head violently. You wanted to disappear, Emily. Her breath caught. That's why I exist. The walls groaned, the air growing thicker, pressing against us like the weight of the ocean. No, she whispered, but it wasn't a denial. It was something cracking. I took another step forward. I was never the one fading, I murmured. Her hands twitched. You were. She stumbled back. You let him convince you that if you gave up the pain, if you let go of the memories, you'd be free. She clutched her head, shaking. But that wasn't freedom. The room lurched. For the first time, I saw it, the flickering at the edges of her. Not me, her. Her fingers wavered, turning translucent at the edges. Her breath came in shallow gasps, her form glitching, stuttering, unraveling like a frayed thread. You weren't replacing me, I whispered. You were becoming me. Her eyes filled with terror. Stop, she begged. But it was too late. The weight of the truth crashed into her. Her form flickered wildly now, like a weak signal barely holding on. This was never your life to take, I said. It was mine to reclaim. Her lips parted in a silent scream. Then, with a final shudder, she vanished. The room snapped back into place. The walls stilled. The glass from the broken lamp hit the floor with a soft tink. The air shifted, lighter, clearer. Time restarted. Kyle gasped, staggering back, his eyes wild. What the hell just happened? He choked out. I turned to him. For the first time in what felt like forever, his eyes locked onto me. Emily. I smiled. Yeah, it's really you. I exhaled, steadying myself. It's me. I was here. I was real. And she was gone. Or so I thought. Because from somewhere deep in the back of my mind, I heard a whisper. I'm still here.